What's good, everybody? What's good? Apparently, I'm live, so we're about to go ahead and get it. It's your boy, the Brainless Trader, aka TBT, TBT, aka the Brainless Trader, whatever you want to call me. It is what it is. And I'm just coming back with another video. I haven't posted in a minute because I've kind of been focused on getting better. So, as I've been focused, I've been making some videos and I've got some stuff, God willing, that's coming out for y'all these next couple of weeks. But also, God willing, hopefully we'll be able to get on the live stream with y'all and chop it up, talk charts like we're doing right now. So I kind of wanted to get on and just kind of do my weekly analysis just live though. Um, and I'll kind of go through what these are too. I have some indicators that aren't really actually indicators I used to get into trades per se, but they're indicators to help me figure out my bias for the day. So I kind of go over those too. Um, So I'm gonna go all the way back up to the US dollar real quick, and we can go from there. Um, with the US dollar, I've still been bullish. This daily bias has been here for a while. Y'all seen this, um, but it's funny because this daily bias has been the same for a minute. Like it's been the same for since like the beginning of 2022. Daily bias, higher prices DXY, lower prices foreign currency that's related to the DXY. So recently we had a little bit of what I thought might be a breaker, which we still got price respecting it. I'll go into a slightly lower time frame. I'll show y'all what I was seeing here. Um, Essentially, what we have here is we're looking at high, low, higher, high, looking at the full wicking body of this lower, lowest down close candle within this range, and this overall would be a breaker. Looking at price having already came down, you see the fair value gap that I usually like to see. Price respected it, or not respected, but I guess you could say there's a large fair value gap. Price didn't trade past that fair value gap and the breaker zone, and then continued down over the last couple of weeks, basically. Um, so it's been interesting to see that because I'm like, okay, I wonder if this is finally the time. We've been waiting for this thing to kind of crack and push downward. Um, and we really just haven't seen any sustained movement. We saw something similar uh, happen a couple, yeah, earlier in July, right, where we were over here and we were seeing the same kind of setup. You see the market structure shift, high, high, low, higher, high, lowest down close candle. I just used the body here because that was relevant to the fair value gap. Price respected, stayed below it for like a couple weeks, up until like mid-August, and then it started making its way back up. Um, so right now, what we really want to see is if there are some, you know, fair value gaps and things that prices are respecting on the bottom side, it has it going back up. And honestly, if it just breaks past this breaker zone, then this daily bias will just remain correct, right? Like we break past this, trade above the breaker zone, and then don't trade back through it, and respect it and go to the next high, which I have is an old fair value gap. Looks like up here, you know, it's gonna just continue to do what we've been seeing, right? Lower prices in DXY and higher prices of DXY, lower prices foreign currency. And then I have ultimately like a top way back. If we go back to the weekly, so I have ICT teaches us to look at fair value gaps and previous highs, right? So that's what we've been doing all the way up. So we got fair value gaps that have already been violated down here at 112. Now us sitting where we're sitting at 113, you can see where the price line is. We've got a fair value gap that we could possibly target, and I should probably put the midpoint here of that fair value gap. I'll just eye it because it's not really all that. Well, I'll take that back. I'll put it properly. So we have a midpoint. I usually like to do my dotted lines and just to check where that midpoint is supposed to be. We can come here and look at our fib just to make sure we have the proper midpoint here. And it's just about right. It's just about right. Fib is a little off though. So if my fib is on, ooh, look at that. I eyed it perfectly. So yeah, that's the midpoint. We'll just say consequent encroachment is what ICT likes to call it. CE. This is the 2000 and what? It's 2002 fair value gap. So, like, price is attacking 2002 fair value gaps and old highs. Like, that's crazy. So then, there's another fair value gap right here that we should probably get in. We can put the whatchamacallit later, the midpoint. Well, I guess I could just eye it since we're doing it right. Let's just do it right. Whatever. And then we have a high here, which I'll probably put that as well, because that is a high before the other high that I had. I like to make my highs green. Get it? No. My highs green, but I like the dash line though. Yeah. I need my dash line to be a little thicker than this. Come on now. But yeah, so we're looking at this high. I mean, obviously, if we get past this high, we can go to here. But if we get this far, then I imagine we probably touch that too. So these are old highs, old fair value gaps. And this is what I like to do on the weekends, especially. I like to get in here and just kind of check out, my perspective markets, looking at what went on in the past, what fair value gaps or what highs could possibly be attacked, and then from there, we just kind of see what price is going to do in real time, right? So going way back over here, let's see where we're at. Going way back where we are now, 2022, present day. We were trading right here at this breaker. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Even like on this daily, you can kind of see that if you're looking at the daily, right, it looks a little bit clearer, the bias, right? So like, look, fair value gap was here. I'll just start here, I guess. We can start here. Look at it. The fair value gap's really telling y'all what's going on, right? Fair value gap getting traded into on the daily and running away from it, right? Another fair value gap form, price doesn't even trade into it. Another fair value gap form, price trades into it, doesn't close past it. Look at that perfect symmetry. I mean, let's just zoom in, right? So I think I have to take my time and do more of this, right? Daily chart, we're on the weekly chart, right? Weekly chart, then daily chart. Understanding what is the true bias. Look at this market symmetry. Price is finishing right across the line. So we should know that if the fair value gap wasn't violated, yes, it was traded past, but it didn't close on the weekly. I don't know what the daily would look like here, but we're just looking at the weekly right now because it's a little bit clearer. Same thing here. We got fair value gap form. Now, price trade doesn't even trade all the way into the fair value gap, trade into the previous breaker that we had over here. If we look down at the lower time frames, trades away, right? So, I mean, it just takes some time, I think, like looking at what we just seen, another large fair value gap like I just showed, price trades into it, and then every one of those fair value gaps that I display for y'all, there's an order block. Lowest time down close candle, right? Lowest down close candle, right? So it's like you have to pay attention. Lowest down, well, that's not the lowest. I guess this wouldn't be the lowest, but fair value gap in conjunction with that order block kind of tells you lowest down close candle, price goes down and touches it, right? It kind of tells you what's going to happen. So this is the same thing. Price came down and touched this fair lowest down close candle. If we want to look at the order block range, maybe we can look at the range of it and see like what for this wick at least, since the wick is pretty long, let's see if price violated the 50%, and it looks like it did, but it's like right below it, looks like. So this would have been the 50% line. Let's just go ahead and put it there, right there. This would have been the 50% line of this fair value gap order block. Sorry, of this order block range, the wick at least, right? The price just barely goes past it and then runs away quickly. So, and I'm sure if we were to go down to the lower time frame, maybe look at that. So I think this is something I have to do better. Going down weekly, daily, looking at where the market symmetry is before the week even begins, right? Look at that market symmetry. Price finishes right across the line. We just used the wick this time of the weekly chart, and I'll go back to show you. We used the wick of the weekly chart, order block, right? Price finishes right here and runs away. Gives us a nice bullish engulfing candle, right? So it's like we have to be able to pay attention to this stuff. Simple, but I think a lot of times we get lost in like the little, you know what I'm saying? The little, the making money, like getting into the charts, 15-minute chart, ICT kill zone. I want to make money. But if I don't do this, I don't understand the true bias. So now this whole, what I've just done, which is what we all need to be doing, it gives you a different perspective about, okay, what's really going to happen in the market. Like, it's clear that it's bullish still, right? There's no, what, looking at the market, what is clear? I don't see a story for the bearish side, right? I see a story for the bullish side. So now we have to see how is that going to look in the foreign markets, right? Because even now you're seeing price retesting old fair value gaps. Look, the old fair value gap high or fair value gap that was here, price has already traded back into it, retested it, right? Lowest down close candle, fair value gap doesn't even come back into it on the daily. And now it seems like, as long as this holds up, right? As long as price doesn't trade back now past this order block, and as long as price trades above this breaker that we had on the, go to the 4 hour, we had the breaker on the 4 hour. As long as price trades past the breaker and respects it, that's really what I would want to see for like a very clear bias for bullish DXY, bearish, foreign currency. Is price to trade above this breaker, not trade below it, and leave all this open, right? Going to attack a very close couple highs, right? These are close. So this recent high, and hopefully, God willing, fair value gap, and then you also have that high that we had, plus whatever else above that if price wants to go that far. But I can really see this being a possibility. So now we got to say, okay, what does that look like on foreign currency? You know that if the story for the DXY is bullish, we're going to assume bullish, and we want to be looking bearish foreign currency, right? So now looking at the weekly, all I see right now clear. Let me get this out of the way. This is from the previous video, y'all. I'm gonna actually be posting this video soon, God willing. I'm gonna break it down into bias, lower time frame, higher time frame bias. Kind of what I'm explaining right now, but just in more detail. But I kind of like this little note because it kind of, if it's there out my way, I can do what I want with it. So, right now, the first thing I see, if I turn all this stuff off, all my little stuff to tell me what's going on, first thing I see is this fair value gap that's been respected. Look, price traded up past it, but then didn't close past it. Same thing here. And you can see that this bearish order block has been touched and respected. Same thing here. Almost touched and respected. So let's go down to the daily and just look at what does that look like. So it's not as clear on the daily as it was on the weekly. The weekly was very clear what has happened. That price has traded into this range, this fair value gap, and we're going to go ahead and put something here so that we can tell where that range is, right? So when we go to the lower time frames, we'll know. Now, if I zoom in, I'm going to have to get rid of some of my stuff here so it makes it a little bit easier to see. Because basically I got breakers that's up here. So it looked like price traded past it, then traded back down into it and started trading away again. So that makes it, let me go ahead and say this is a weekly. That makes it look like at least it's trying to make its way back down. Now I wish there was a daily like fair value gap or something that I could look at that could tell me a little bit more information. But right now all I can see is that on the weekly we're looking pretty nice. We just got to see it's probably because there's a gap here too. It's a pretty nice gap. So we got to see what price is going to do in this zone. Is it going to continue to trade past this fair value gap, or is it going to continue to come back down? We go into like the lower time frames. We can see a little bit more, but right now the weekly seems like the clearest chart to look at. So I'm probably going to have to see what's going to happen the first part of the week, but my bias for foreign currency is still bearish. Um, these are just kind of breakers and things that I was looking at in the market earlier. Let me go ahead and get those out of my way. This has already been utilized. Um, but alternatively looking, there's like fair value gaps that have remained open. So looking at this, honestly, if I'm bearish, I wouldn't want price to be trading above this area. Honestly, maybe we can see a liquidity run up here and come back down. But to be honest, I would just like to see price not even get above this weekly fair value gap that we have here. Let me see where I must have put it way over here. Yeah. Come back, sir. So the people can see what we're talking about. So yeah, weekly fair value gap. That's what I would be looking for. Now I will say GBP USD is the one that I really like trading the most, y'all. I feel like it gives me the best bang for my buck, and if I just focus on it when it's moving, I feel like it's like very nice. Alternatively, Euro USD is an okay pair for me too. So real quick, I'm about to close, but it looks like the same situation in Euro USD, right? Like we have a fair value gap on the weekly that wasn't closed in, right? Weekly. And then same thing up here, we had the fair value gap that wasn't closed in. You seen what happened here. You saw what happened. Look, price trade up into that order block, touches it, runs away quickly. What we have here, price trades into the fair value gap, touches the order block, midpoint, looks like, runs away, right? Right? And then you just see continued fair value gaps in the Euro USD left open. So looking at how strong that DXY bias was bullish, I think that this is a good play for the bearish foreign currency, Euro USD and GBP USD at least. So looking at the lower time frames though, you got fair value gaps that have been left open, so that is encouraging for the bearish side. The bearish side. And same as in GBP, I really wouldn't want it to trade above this nice fair value gap on the 4 hour and this high. Honestly, if in the perfect world, I wouldn't want it to see trade past the fair value gap if we're going to be bearish. So y'all already know my setup. I like to look for setups after runs on liquidity. So I got one this week. I'll be able to find some of those, and then I like to look for the breaker and then downstream order blocks paired with fair value gaps. So that's what we'll be doing this week. God willing, maybe I'll be able to get into a live session, like actually trading with y'all instead of just a market review. So yeah, we'll just have to see. And then GBP, JPY, this is one I'm just kind of observing, so I'm not even gonna speak on it because it's not really my pair like that. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I'm really a GBP USD guy. Like I tried to do GBP odd a while back, and it just didn't really work out for me that well because I really didn't know what I was doing. So maybe, hopefully, I might leave that breaker. I might, hopefully one day be able to trade GBP, JPY pretty well as well. But I really only trade it if I see like my perfect setup with the breaker for all that stuff. So Bitcoin, I ain't on that. You feel me? So that's pretty much it for me, y'all. So God willing, this week we'll be able to get into some stuff. I was going to show y'all why I have these little indicators on my chart, but I might save that for another live because I got to get ready for church. Praise Jesus Christ. Thank you for waking me up this morning. Love you. So that's all we got. I will catch y'all on another stream. Right now, I'm going to let my outro page play for y'all. But stay with me. We're going to continue to post content. If it is God's will, we're going to continue to uplift and do the best that we can. And soon, if it is God's will, keep making that money. Let's go. So I love y'all for sure. Thanks for following. Thanks for subscribing. Tune in for more content, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. All right. Peace. Here, this is facts. I enter right here. It's a demo, but I'm just showing you my executions. I enter right here after the impulse. We already talked about why I entered. I entered because of a order block on the higher time frame, 15-minute, and fair value gap, and I waited for a lower high, got in on the impulse. Boom. I waited until price gave me what I wanted price-wise, till I got to my goal. You don't have to wait all day, all right? Me personally, with a 10 lot size, trading the FTMO $100,000 account, if I can get $2,000 to $3,000 in a day, I am so happy. If I can get $1,000 profit in a day, and that's all it gives me, I'm fine with that, okay? It's all about stacking profits up day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. It ain't about big profits. Now, I left the trading because my stop started profit, and I'm in the same direction as my higher time frame bias. I have the leverage, okay? I will leave my trade in until price gets to that next level of liquidity, which at the time, what I had been targeting, let's see, what was I, if I can remember, what I had been targeting, to be honest with you, I was targeting this lower sell side liquidity, to be honest with you. But I like to have a modest target in case, you know, that doesn't happen. So I think, where was I? I was, okay, here is where I was. Was it? Alright, I'm a little lost again. Okay, here is where I was. Yes, this is where I had taken the trade, and I was targeting this sell side liquidity, but in all honesty, I knew that there's a fair value gap on the hour right here, and this is the end of the fair value gap, and you can see that's just about where I got at. Now, if we can put a filter here, actually, I'm going to go to the lower time frame and see if I can find the lower time frame fair value gap that I was targeting. Okay, boom. So you see, there's a fair value gap here, and there's a fair value gap here. Now, a modest target is this first fair value gap, okay? You're looking at getting, you know, for me, my model that I've